There are already some people waiting for us. Good day, good afternoon. How are you? So we just wait a couple of minutes more so that more people can come in. If you want, just leave your name and from where you're calling. And if you're from GBO, just put GBO because I'm curious to see who's from GBO attending.
Yes, please, because for me it's very difficult if I don't see faces, so I don't
we
know
we don't we
who.
don't see each other.
Yeah,
We don't see you, but you can
but
see
we
us.
are with you. So please, who you are?
From where are you calling? Are you GBO?
Napoleon. Ah,
Madrid, Spain. Yes.
so Paco, John, Bernhard.
John, Mass Business in Madrid. Hi, John. How are you? Bernhard, pleasure to see you here from Austria.
Ah, okay, I see also from Barcelona, Tony, long time ago, and also Paco. Paco, I know Paco is from Madrid, but I think we share family business things, right?
And Gianni from GBO. How are you, my friend? Stockholm. How is life up there in the north? I'm sitting in Madrid and Isabel in Barcelona. Beautiful Barcelona. Today here is cloudy. We had big rain in the night, so it's pretty. Yeah, it's like a kind of rather having a good tea and being inside weather. So more people are coming. Yep, it's filling up. I suggest we just start, don't we? You ready for rock and roll? Let's go. So I will share screen. Share my screen. Ventana. GBO. Compartir. Presentation.
Yes. Okay, now
Okay. You can see it. That's good. And I do that.
there is coming as well, Javier from Vigo.
Yeah.
We have a lot of places, right?
From
Around.
Vigo. That's great. Let's see. Johnny, you're the faster the farthest away so far from Stockholm, I guess. Let's see if we have somebody further away.
From Germany.
Stefan. Hey, Stefan from Germany. That's good. So a lot of people interested. Not the first time. Okay, good day, everybody. Um, Welcome to the webinar we've prepared about the conscious leadership and its importance for sustainable success. My name is Joe, German living in Madrid, and together with Isabel, we will present you the next hour, go through the next hour. We think about 30, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, some presentation, and then please feel free to ask question. There's a button below, ask a question in between, just go ahead. If we will see if we can answer the question on the go, or we will go through them at the end. And any comments on the right, so where you're from, if you're GBO, from which city, etc. Isabel and myself, we are both engaged and members of Conscious Capitalism Foundation here in Spain. Myself, I've over 30 years experience working in companies as CEO, CFO, auditor, banker, and in the last years I'm a consultant, coach, conscious business angel in a certain way, and in different sectors and roles. And my purpose is to work with companies to assess and transform them to a conscious and a sustainable business. Isabel.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here with a lot of conscious leaders, for sure. My name is Isabel. I'm sitting in Barcelona. I am the CEO of my company, is Liderazgo 3D, and I'm working for effective leadership. For example, for the boards, for the steering committees, for medium-sized companies, and also as my colleague Paco, especially with family business. Very interesting family business ownership, and also I'm a co-founder of I'm as a business angels for women because we have to support diversity a lot still, and I am advisor of a company of engineering. So happy to be here, and let's start.
Yeah, happy to share a screen with you. Special thanks to GBO, Global Business Owners, and the whole organization, especially Victoria, who made sure that the technique and everything is running smooth. And some words about GBO. It's present in 25 cities with more than 500 members worldwide. And Miguel, who is the CEO, the other day was telling us GBO was born to revolutionize the way we do business. I like this very much. We believe that networking should be close, human, in a relaxed and friendly atmosphere. So it's a very special business owner club.
Okay.
So let's start with some background, why we're here, what we're doing. And I just want to hint again about the conscious capitalism, conscious business, how we call it. It's a philosophy how business can be done in a better way, in a very special way, which we think it's very important, and it's the way to proceed. So we have four pillars in conscious capitalism we're talking about. We're talking about the purpose, and when we talk about purpose, it's a higher purpose, purpose-driven versus profit-driven organization, and it's going beyond money for its shareholders. So that's the idea about it. Then we have the stakeholders, stakeholder integration. We had already a webinar on that, so if you're interested, like on purpose as well, you can review them. And stakeholder means is the obligation for the management to create equitable value for all stakeholders. And all stakeholder means clients, employees, shareholders, providers, community, and the environment. The next one is what we're talking today, leadership. The leader as a servant leader. We will go into details right now. And the fourth one is the culture, a conscious culture based on trust, based on accountability, transparency, integrity, personal growth, and above all, love and care. So to summarize it, purpose is a why. Why are you doing it? Whereas culture, leadership, and stakeholder integration is the how. How are we doing that? So let's hit leadership, conscious leadership. How are we doing it? Isabel.
So conscious leadership is a very interesting question, right? But before we explore it in detail, because we are going to do that today, let me ask our audience to. So, do you think you are a conscious leader? And how you are your comments in the chat? Maybe we can take some of your ideas on that. Do we think we are a conscious leader or unconscious leaders?
So what is the difference?
Okay, I don't know if they are
No,
conscious, I hope, said John.
John said conscious, I hope.
John, how do you know? How do you know that you're conscious sometimes? How do you know you're a conscious leader?
Both. There's no black and white. Good
Okay,
answer, Bernhard.
yes.
I like that.
Okay, okay. So John is explaining about is saying about the impact. So my colleagues told me that I'm a conscious leader, and so Berna said, "Okay, am I unconscious or conscious leader?" Okay, so today we are going to explore it in detail. And yes, for sure, we are trying to be a conscious leader, but we're going to see how to do that. So first, before doing that, let me introduce the context of leadership. Okay, so uh, we believe that leadership has three dimensions. Okay, so leadership begins with self leadership, so with myself. So I'm the one, I have to lead myself before leading anything or anyone else, right? So this is the first dimension, the self leadership. Then I am ready to lead to the relationship leadership, okay, with my team, with my company, with my project. So it's about the we, no? And the third dimension is leadership is more systemic perspective. It's the impact that my leadership uh, in the world. Okay, so the impact in my community, so my contribution. So as conscious leader, we do believe that we are like a three-dimensional leaders, right? So we have to take the three levels of the leadership into consideration.
And starting with yourself means if you can't lead yourself, it's rather difficult to lead others, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yes, that's right. Because leadership is about being, not only acting, right? And not only making things done. So, but conscious leaders are not static, okay? It's because human beings are not static. So we have to evolve. We are dynamic and we are evolving. So what we are doing is evolving our practice of leadership. Is a continuous learning daily on a daily basis, right? So leadership is about practice, always by practice. So what grows in each stage of consciousness? So the more conscious am I, our capacity to take perspective is bigger. Okay. Also, my awareness of how I interface with the world, with other relations. And so our effectiveness to complexity. We are all in very complex times, very dynamic one. So our leadership needs to evolve as well to cope with all the changes and all the different perspectives. So a conscious leader is someone uh, who has really a clear intention to grow, to learn and grow, challenging yourself first to be more, to act more, and challenging others to do the same. Okay, so that's the main part of evolving our conscious leadership. So, but what does it really mean be a conscious leader, and what's the difference between unconscious leader? Because we are all using those words, but what did that really means? So, in leadership, we do see too many styles of leadership depending on the structure of your mind, right? So we do have unconscious leadership or conscious leadership. So the main thing is how we can shift our leadership because it's a change of paradigm. Okay, so and this is I would say the central paradigm shift that we need for leadership in the future to be more conscious leadership. So what is an unconscious leader? No, what's about the line? About the line, you're more focused on problems, okay, solving problems. So when we have problems, we have obstacles, we have threats, we have to do something about that. And the thing is, if I'm very focused on problems, my behavior is always moving away from things, and that I don't want, because I don't want. We are playing not to lose things, okay, not to lose the position, not to lose money, not to lose whatever. So what unconscious leaders wants to getting back to the normal. So it's more a short-term paradigm. Okay, it's a short-term, and it's also fear driven by fear. Okay, so I don't know, confusion, fear. So yeah, or I win, or maybe I lose, or maybe I win. So what we need really is to control the situation, is to or get the approval of the people we are surrounded, right, or our team or whatever, or the need of security, right? So we are reacting to circumstances. So an unconscious leader, the main thing is that he or she's reacting to reality, right? But beyond the line, the shifting is conscious leadership. Conscious leadership is more focused on the solution. So the main thing is, what do we want? So their behavior is completely different, because we are thinking more in long-term vision. Okay, so we are leading more by purpose. So what really is the impact that I would like to have with my actions? So it's if I am a conscious leader, I'm more driven by trust. It's very important to build trust before commitment. So trust before, and also passion. So you should love and you should trust in the future that is, even though the circumstances, because reality it is. So we are taking actions. So we are responding. We are reflecting before acting and taking actions to the circumstances. It's more responding instead of reacting. Maybe,
responding
yeah.
responding also in a way of like look above the problem which is occurring and seeing in which kind of circumstances it's happening, and really to have in mind all other things as well. This is what I understand here, no?
Is creating opportunities, even though we do have complex times or constraints or whatever.
Mm.
So solving, it's not problem oriented, okay, because it's more cost effective. It's like, okay, let me check, see different scenarios, and how can I cope with that, or how can I really make good decisions and take actions to make things in a way that are on service on by our purpose of our company, for example. Okay, so, and it's very interesting in those times, no, you can Joe, see, because in times of crisis, as it is, as a pandemic, you get very easy to observe these two different styles of leading, right? Very easy, because we have a lot of pressure. Yeah, Danny said, oh, yes, I'm a conscious leader. Okay. so so I'm not interested in comparing people, okay? But let's look at Mr. Trump, President Trump's style of leadership versus, I don't know if you know her, Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, okay? Uh, for example, Trump, yes, he's really a leader who refuses to admit defeat sometimes, and he's playing not to lose because, okay, yes, he says, okay, there's a problem, and I'm going to win this problem. I am reacting to the circumstances. Of course, he's a leader with a lot of followers who seek this charismatic and confident as Ms. Trump is, but he's quite focused on short term decisions. Okay, that's problem, short term. How can I solve it? But at the same time, it doesn't care a lot about if it's damage the system or it damages the relationship in his way, right? So and what about the communication style? So okay, he's very sensitive to criticism, very poor listening skills, lack of empathy sometimes, and so on. So here leadership is serving, but he's serving at himself, at his position, right? On the other hand, we do have Jacinta that I observe her in different communications. I encourage you to see in YouTube her videos when she faces, for example, terrorism, or she faces a pandemic one, how she has communicate what was important. So she acts like a public motivator. Okay, so she really have the direction given for his messages. So meaningful communication to make people be more confident, be more leader about their circumstances, and also make things happen, because every communication she's doing is doing for like call to action. So she enables people cope to change, right? Reinforce their confidence. And for example, she did daily briefings to clearly say what is happening today, what can we do. She's doing very often, and also she's persuading many people to act for the collective good. So she is serving others. Okay, so I noticed these two leadership style in a lot of leaders during the pandemic. Maybe you can already share your examples, but for example, I in conscious leader, so I was part. I was assessing a family business, and they told me, okay, our big company had the impact of the pandemic, and so they need to put people in unemployment. But the board decide to continue to gain the same profit as they did last year, right? And or also I do see a lot of opportunities to see conscious leadership. We participate in a project led by SEAT, SEAT, the car company. They lead a project because to help the hospital. They put together suppliers, customers, to create something, because there was a lack of mask. So it was a very amazing ally between public and private sectors, just to think what is needed in that moment and what can we do. And so I do also see in this complex time a lot of opportunities in companies. So these are the
Okay.
yeah
Okay. I think this is a good moment to come back to conscious, unconscious, and I think it's what we present right now is the way how conscious capitalism has defined conscious or unconscious leadership. And we see example in the background here. Being unconscious doesn't mean perhaps could also mean that he's consciously unconscious. He's really doing it consciously, this way of style. He's leading others because it's his way of like he wants to be. And being conscious often could also mean you do it totally unconsciously because you're born like that, you have experience like that, you have good experience with some kind of things.
Yes, it's nothing to do about the intention, because the intention, some unconscious leader, they really they are clear
Mm,
what they are using this kind of leadership, because
exactly.
it has results, of course, right?
Mm.
So
And being conscious, we have also, and this is Bernard was pointing it out, it's not conscious, unconscious. There's a lot, it's not black and white, it's a lot of gray in between. And we are all somewhere in the gray, hopefully, and for sure.
yes, it's not black and white, because we are continuously evolving. So we have different experiences. Maybe uh, you are doing one experience with very unconscious leader because you are reacting to the circumstances, but you want to take advantage of that, to what you want to learn. So also this unconscious leadership. So the main thing is, are you close? Are you defensive and committed to be right? Okay, or are you open, curious, and committed to learning? Okay, so that's the difference between conscious leadership. We have summarized some of like a guidelines or some of the main important points that we have seen from our experience, and to see a conscious leader is committed to what, really, to what. So we do see, we have summarized in 9 points that I invite Joe, maybe we can give more clarity on that, okay, and see, okay.
So what are the ingredients of a conscious leadership?
Yes, what are the main commitments? Okay, so first, he is leading by what? For example, Joe, what do you see? What do you think about conscious leader leading
I
by?
leading by I lead, I decide, I have the power, I know everything. This would be a rather unconscious way of leading, I would say, no?
Yes. So instead of a conscious leader is thinking more about leading by purpose. So what's the impact we hope to make with that? And the purpose is companies should know their purpose, their really their value, their difference. No? It's very important because on that you can build the culture of service. You are serving others, you are serving employees, customers, to what? To the purpose. For example, a car company, so they are enable people experience the joy of driving, right? So that's a purpose, right? So and that drives the service around all the different teams and the ecosystem to to achieve that. Okay, so leading by purpose and service is very important commitment for a conscious leader. What else?
Focus on the most valuable.
What do we do an unconscious leader? What do you think?
An unconscious leader probably would work on the what we already said, the urgent and on short term instead of important and long term.
So we should look beyond our immediate to-do list of the day, right? The urgent things. What is the most valuable things of a company? Is a reason for a company to exist. So a conscious leader should focus on creating a culture of trust because trust is the first part of commitment, right? Creating value for our service, well, and having enough sources, I mean, cash, talent, sources, not resources. Resources is much more on the unconscious paradigm. So sources, talent, cash are sources for creating the value that we would like to, for sure, for the impact, the positive impact that we do have. I really like this statement, taking responsibility. So, what do you think an unconscious leader about responsibility, conscious leadership, and
Listen, it's all your fault. If this doesn't work, you're the responsible. I don't have any responsibility.
okay, so
Blaming.
blaming or you are not taking, no, it's not my fault, right? So you need to understand that leadership. So it's the so we need to have the ability to bring one entire self into our position. Okay, so a leadership position has a tremendous impact for a sustainable growth. Why? Because every decision you make, every communication you make can cause a lot of things, right? So it means that responsibility means influence, and you can use that influence in a good way or not. Okay, so that's why responsibility is very very important. It's accountability. It's influence. It's what not only what is happening to me, but the others, the impact on the others. Okay. Alignment. Mm. Another thing, alignment. What does an unconscious leader?
He won't have in mind all the other stakeholders, so he's just focused on one and wouldn't communicate, I guess. No communication.
Okay, so first of all, so self alignment. So the things that you believe, you say and do, make sure that they are in a line. Okay, because if not, it causes frustration, or maybe really you are not trusting that person, right? Okay, so this I don't understand really how or she is working. But also, this alignment is very special in organizations, because sometimes I do see this alignment within a company. For example, this alignment between the main teams, between the board and the steering committee and other teams. So it's a main work of conscious to facilitate the alignment, a clear alignment of the different parts of the company to have the impact that we would like to have. Alignment, said Paco. Said yes, Paco. Alignment with your values. That's what I said at the beginning. So self-alignment. So values, what you believe is very important. So when there's this alignment with the values, that's why sometimes people quit the company. You're completely right. It's very important, the values, and to respect and to honor the values of the company. Yes. So the next point will be, what is making impeccable agreements? Okay.
Being authentically and to get things done. I mean, telling one thing and doing other things. This would be the most unconscious way of, in our definition, I would say.
Yeah.
Tell you A and do B.
So long time ago, a great leader that I met told me, Isabel, so frustration equals reality minus expectations.
Mm.
So he said, reality is as it is, all right? But expectations, one of my main work as a leader is managing expectations. To do so, a very useful tool is making impeccable agreements. It means defining really the agreements, because it gives clarity, it gives guidance to people on what the behaviors that are allowed in the company. Okay, but not only defining, you have to follow up that the agreements in the company are accomplished, right? If they are not respect for whatever reason, so take action to that, right? So it's a very that's why communication is very, very important for a conscious leader. Maybe we should reflect on which are the agreements that we should review, because there's no clarity. If you find in your company no clarity or confusion, maybe you can review if there's a need of agreements to be set up, right?
So
Because agreements.
this is short-term problem solving again, no? Without having in mind what consequences are on a mid or long term. Cause and effect.
Cause and effect, okay, which is, instead of a conscious leaders to see on a holistic, we need to take into consideration that we are a part of a bigger system. So I would say that one of the main, that's what I said in the university last week, one of the main competences for a future leader, for a conscious future leader, is systemic perspective. Very, very important. The holistic. So because when you are acting from a perspective, systemic perspective, then you are asking if what will be the impact of your decision, of your action in the whole system, right? So And that's why sometimes I ask for the change. So this change, for who or what is this situation a good solution,
Mm.
right? Or who or what does it serve if nothing changes? So that are questions from a perspective, from a systemic perspective. Okay,
The
ego,
ego trap.
ego trap. So yes, so
Trust is, I think it said Lenin was saying that trust is good, control is better. And I'm an ex-controller.
yes, because yes, as we said, as humans, we need our needs. We need to fulfill our needs as controlling because it gives us security. We are secure. We are under control, and we get the approval of the people, right? But these are individual ego traps when we are in when we are in a board, when we are. So sometimes I said, okay, let's go again to the ego trap. So one is defending, and because they are not overcoming the individual egos. So and it's very important. How can the team, the group, the collective allows to overcome our individual needs, eh, and look for the needs, or what is really needed situation, or what is really the need of the organization in that moment. And sometimes we, as a conscious leader, we have to facilitate a lot how to overcome this ego trap that we are recurring in the meetings, for example. Yes, we are. So that's another point. Another interesting point is, yes, employees, always people first, I said. Okay, so we need to build an organization that allows team members to realize their full potential. If not, what our unconscious leader is building?
Well, you told me we always did it like this. This is something very typically for unconscious behavior and not really built on to realize their full potential.
Yes. Or sometimes I just get in people in my team that which I think they are not as best as myself. Okay, because I need not colleagues, I need followers, right?
Mm.
But conscious leader creates a team of teams, creates leaders, an organization full of leaders who inspire other leaders, right? And so that's that allows to have a learning, agile, and dynamic organization instead of bureaucratic, static, right? Just driven by power, hierarchical, right? So one of the tools which is very, very interesting is feedback. You to grow, to make people grow, you need feedback, frequent feedback, and to for learning. And the last one,
Lead positive and sustainable with impact to all stakeholders and the world.
yes, because Joe told me about one example of Volkswagen. Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the 90s when I studied, and perhaps some of you remember. There was this guy from a Spaniard, Jose Ignacio Lopez, from the north of Spain, if I remember, and he worked for General Motors and Volkswagen, and he was the one who really worked on the providers, and he had a kind of system giving them so much. He was squeezing the providers as much to put the costs down, but in the end, it went totally on the quality. So they lost a lot of quality in Volkswagen at that time. He got very famous. So I guess this is exactly what is meant by this point.
Yes, because also if we do all the topics, but we don't care about the final impact. So, for example, the impact in our community, in our ecosystem, because we are all having an ecosystem. As for example, we are doing with the climate change. that's something we are not having a positive impact in our community. I really think that this point will be very, very important from present to the future that we would like to create, because we need to have these good allies, because good allies between, as I said, public and private sector, with my suppliers and customers or whatever, with the association I'm part of, so new connections, new openings, allows innovation. So it's like that you take down the barriers of your companies and allow exchange. So when with exchange, you innovate and you have new opportunities from that. So new connections usually drives you. That will be because we are not used to collaborate. We are part of our system, but the collaboration, the allies, will be very, very necessary in the future times. So these are the main commitments that we have seen as a conscious leader, maybe. But the main thing is, okay, so we are talking about leader, the teams and the organization, but as a John McKay, so an organization is as conscious as his or her leader is. So that's why we have to begin with us as a leader, okay? So how can we evolve our practice of leadership? And you would say there are several ways to do so, okay? It begins, as we said, my well-being, okay, with my well-being, emotional, physically, my thoughts. I'm just sharing with you one of the best experience. I found this methodology 6 years ago as in an association called EO, Entrepreneurs of the World, as global business owners, for example. And we did, I facilitate during years what we call leadership circles, right? Which will be a group. Instead of course, you can evolve your leadership with a coach, with a mentor, by reading, inspiring in webinars, whatever. But one very, very useful is about to take the potential of the group, the collective. So that's what we designed, and I follow this methodology that I learned from different leaders of different sectors that we, on a regular basis, because the conscious leadership is a daily basis. So we, for example, we met once a month or twice a month, and by experience, someone was really sharing their experience with vulnerability, with all the happens, the beliefs, the impacts, whatever, and the others serves like advisors. So everyone was committed to not only their own grow learning, but also with the colleagues. It was like being to have a, a senior group of advisors that are really helping you uh, on and to widen the perspective of your leadership tools and your leadership decisions in one experience. It was very, very, very nice. So I, I'm more than sure that you, as leader, you said. So Paco Leon is saying, how do you think? Hmm, very and I'm looking at a very interesting question. Yes, so it's about maturity, because maturity needs reflections on what my actions uh, requires vulnerability, requires humility, a lot of things. We are in a very fast uh, modern civilization, and we do really need I would say awareness is a question of brave people who are working on her, on his leadership, on the leadership. I do see they are brave people because they are questioning themselves. They wanted to do so. So society, I'm 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 not happy to say that we are not as mature a society as the challenges that we are facing right now they are doing. So look at the pandemic. So I was thinking, okay, for example, we do have the talent, the technology, everything to have a collective solution on how can we lead, how can we respond to that. We are not doing that. We are not doing that. We are doing complete separately by countries, and even though within the countries, and we don't have still this awareness of collectiveness that the future is. That's my point of view. Sorry, Joe, I don't know. I should make. We do have a lot of things. How can why we are not doing that? Because we are not yet prepared to this awareness. But I'm happy because if I don't know, but you said 20 years ago, okay? Maybe I was already engaged with that things and that values, but there were few people that were talking this way. We joined the conscious capitalism, and so there were a few people. I was working for a big four, and really. mm, the way of leading it was making money. Making money was the normal, right? And if you had other ideas, maybe you can change or go on a social, because it's social or it's company. We were like black and white a lot. So I'm totally happy that now we do have a lot of opportunities to talk, and people like you that are joining, that are sharing, that would like to make a positive impact. So we are really activists for a better world, and that's in companies, because
Mm.
so that's amazing.
And it's not like there is the consciousness. This is something which is evolving as well. I mean, when you just look back 20 years ago, we were smoking in an airplane. Now you look back and like how is it possible that we were smoking in the airplane? It's something like totally unbelievable. But at that time, it was just normal, and something which is really like also the maturity is just continuing and in its own way. So what is Johnny saying to me? One of the problems today that unconsciously they don't know that they are unconscious. I mean, Trump would say that the IS committed that he is committed to those 9 points. Good point. Would he?
We don't know,
Why?
but yes, we don't know. But for example, do you really think that they are unconscious? I'm not sure. I'm not sure because
No.
for example, when I see Spanish politicians, right? And I said they are forgotten what is be a public servant. They forgot the purpose of politics, which is agreement and which is public servant. They are just managing of gaining votes, no? Gaining, and it's completely different. So what they do, okay, if I say that communication, people will say, okay, I will do have too many followers. Yeah, I would do that.
Mm. I
There's
fear that I fear the same. I'm pretty sure that he's very conscious in the way we define it, unconscious. He knows it perfectly, and he's doing it because he has an advantage. And he was pretty successful in a certain way. I mean, he was almost re-elected.
So yes, and we also see in leadership in boards the aggressive styles. They are still doing that because they are successful. They achieve results doing that, right? By
Hmm. Very interesting discussion. So what we have now, okay, we have, if you're interested in conscious capitalism and also conscious leadership, we strongly recommend you the Yellow Bible of Conscious Capitalism, which is very interesting. Also, the Conscious Capitalism Field Guide. There is more practice in there with questions and to work on. And firms of endearment, these are firms who are on a certain way on a conscious level, and it's a economic study how successful they are. And to finalize, we would like to ask you, what
Yes,
kind of leader do you want to be?
and how can we step us beyond the line? So, what will be the next step? So, like some questions to reflect, right? Um, we hope that we share more clarity on what conscious is, but we would like to, if you will have more questions, please let us know, and we will be happy.
To discuss, to go further on. So from our side, this is the
or
oops.
or the main takeaway that you will say from today.
So any questions? Read the 9 points and tell me Trump wouldn't say that's what I'm doing. Yeah, interesting. Could be. We're not in the situation to, and we don't want to judge Trump anyhow. Some questions? Something more from your part? Which leader you want to be? We hope you got some ideas, get some points out of our of the presentation we've done, some input, and if there's no more questions here, um,
But maybe as conscious leaders, you can give us feedback, or you can share with.
exactly what kind of main points you're taking with you, where you start thinking today of from what you've seen. I really like one phrase, which is one of the mantras in conscious capitalism. Capitalism, and we have sometimes difficulty to talk about capitalism. Practiced in a conscious way is the biggest force for good the world has ever seen, and I believe on that. We can change the world with how we do business. And in business, there's a lot of potential to go for a better world. Timo saying, I want to be a loved leader. Is that possible? Of course. I'm 100% sure that it's possible. Isabel, what do you think?
Yes, but okay, there's a trap there. Okay.
As usual, yeah.
So once another leader told me, Isabel, I prefer to be respect than to be loved. And it's very important, and that's something that's very significant to me, because when we are trying always to be loved, so we have to do what we think, but sometimes we will be loved, sometimes we are not, and we have to cope with the different. But for sure, if you do like that, you will have the positive impact, and people will recognize, will acknowledge you.
I want to be the change, says Johnny. Yeah, it's very good.
Yes, Jenny, we are all leaders in all positions, and so it's like taking responsibility for a better world, and we can do in organizations, our projects, uh, it's, environment. The challenge is for yeah, ignorance is very dangerous. I totally agree. Ignorance, and some people, they don't want to be aware, because that's something that happens as well in our when we are coaching teams. I realize that some of them don't want to be aware. Okay, so we have to focus on the ones that are, "Oh, I don't know," and the ones that really want like to make a good impact. Paco, keep on working on new perspectives and insights. yeah, evolve the business to conscious, yeah, to more creative opportunities. Okay. Anything else? We
So
have
I think,
time. It's a pity that I can see the whole faces, but thank you very much for being there. Thank you very much for inviting me, Joe, to that session.
thank you for being with me here. It was a real pleasure. And I hope you have some takeaways. Have a great day, and we will continue our journey with culture soon. So please stay aware of what we're doing, and anything we will send you out the presentation with our contact details. So feel free to contact us anytime you want, and keep talking. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Take care. Love and light to all of you. Love is possible. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, Tony. Ino, Jenny, John, Javier, Paco.
Stefan, how are you, my friend? You still online? You still with us? Long time not seen, not spoken.
I can see who is in. You maybe you.
I can, yeah. So I will end the broadcast right now. Thank you very much. Bye bye. All the best.